Tension in the Black Sea reached critical levels when Russian hypersonic Zircon missiles intercepted an American naval group in international waters. The attack occurred during routine maneuvers of the United States Sixth Fleet, catching commanders by surprise. 3 vessels were hit, including a state-of-the-art destroyer. Witnesses report massive explosions that illuminated the night horizon. Russia alleges that American vessels violated established security zones. Washington categorically denies this, stating it operated in legitimate waters. The incident marks the first time since the Cold War that Russian forces directly attacked American military ships. Military analysts express shock at the speed and precision of the attack. Zircon missiles travel at speeds exceeding Mach 9, making them virtually impossible to intercept with current technology. American anti-missile defense systems failed completely. Pentagon sources confirm casualties, but exact numbers remain classified. The Kremlin released an official statement justifying the action as a necessary defensive response. Satellite imagery shows significant damage to the impacted vessels. One of them is being towed to safe harbor. The international community awaits official statement from the White House. Global financial markets reacted with sharp drops in stock exchanges. Oil prices soared, anticipating possible escalation. Experts warn we are at the most dangerous moment since the Cuban Missile Crisis. NATO convened an emergency meeting to discuss coordinated response to the Russian attack. While the world digests the Russian attack, Venezuela emerges as a new epicenter of tension. President Nicolas Maduro convened an urgent press conference broadcast globally. With grave and determined tone, he announced his country will no longer tolerate American provocations. Maduro revealed that Venezuela established a deepened military alliance with Moscow. Russian bases are being installed on Venezuelan territory with latest generation weaponry. The Venezuelan leader exhibited documents allegedly proving American invasion plans. According to Maduro, American intelligence agencies have been plotting to destabilize his government for years. He declared that any hostile action by the United States will be responded to with full force. Venezuela activated all defense systems and placed armed forces on maximum alert. Russian Sukhoi Su-35 fighter jets already patrol Venezuelan airspace. Russian warships docked at Venezuelan ports for the first time in decades. Maduro warned Washington that Caracas possesses devastating response capability. He mentioned cruise missiles and S-400 anti-aircraft systems supplied by Russia. The bellicose rhetoric surprised Western diplomats accustomed to milder speeches. Analysts evaluate whether Maduro possesses real military capability or is merely bluffing. Venezuela's geographic proximity to the United States makes threats particularly concerning. Neighboring countries like Colombia and Brazil demonstrate growing nervousness. The possibility of armed conflict in the Americas seemed remote until now. Maduro concluded his statement promising to defend Venezuelan sovereignty at any cost. The White House convened an emergency meeting of the National Security Council. The President of the United States canceled international agenda to manage the crisis. Military advisors present options ranging from economic sanctions to direct military action. The American dilemma is complex: respond with force or seek diplomatic de-escalation. Hawks in Congress demand immediate and proportional retaliation against Russia. Other lawmakers warn that direct conflict with a nuclear power would be suicidal. American public opinion is divided between patriotism and fear of world war. Military veterans remember human and financial costs of prolonged conflicts. The Pentagon calculates that conventional war with Russia would cost millions of lives. Modern weapon systems make conflicts more destructive than ever in history. Generals warn that escalation can quickly spiral out of control. Nuclear protocols are being reviewed in case the situation deteriorates completely. NATO debates invoking Article 5, which mandates collective defense of attacked members. However, the attack occurred outside member territory, complicating legal response. European allies fear being dragged into confrontation they do not want. France and Germany press for negotiated solution through the United Nations. The United Kingdom offers total support to the United States in any decision. The world watches Washington awaiting signals of American response. Each passing hour increases pressure for decisive action. Inaction may be interpreted as weakness, encouraging future aggressions. Behind the diplomatic scenes, secret communication channels work frantically. Russian and American ambassadors meet in Geneva away from spotlights. Experienced negotiators attempt to find exit that preserves dignity of both sides. Russia demands recognition of its zones of influence and security. The United States insists on freedom of navigation and respect for international law. Proposals and counter-proposals circulate in highly classified documents. China observes attentively, seeking opportunities to advance its own interests. Beijing offers mediation, but Washington distrusts its true intentions. The UN appears impotent, with Russia possessing veto power in the Security Council. The UN Secretary General appeals for restraint and return to dialogue. Pope Francis calls on world leaders to choose peace over vengeance. intelligence. Humanitarian organizations warn about catastrophic consequences of global war. Computer simulations show millions of refugees and worldwide economic collapse. Supply chain already fragile from pandemic would disintegrate completely. Hunger and social chaos would inevitably follow any prolonged conflict. Nuclear experts warn about risks of accidents during high tension. False alarms have nearly caused nuclear launches in the past. With so many forces on maximum alert, margin of error is dangerously small. Historians compare current moment to July 1914 before World War I. At that time, no one imagined the carnage that would follow hasty decisions. Venezuela intensifies military preparations visible throughout national territory. Reservists are summoned and civilians participate in civil defense training. Missile batteries appear positioned at strategic locations near borders. American reconnaissance aircraft detect unprecedented military movement. Spy satellites capture images of Russian convoys unloading heavy equipment. Tanks, artillery, and air defense systems arrive daily on cargo ships. Russia-Venezuela military cooperation clearly reached new level. Maduro makes surprise visits to military bases exhibiting determination. Venezuelan soldiers receive training from Russian instructors on new weapons. Civilian population demonstrates mixed support between nationalism and concern. Some Venezuelans celebrate alliance with Russia as protection against imperialism. Others fear their country will become battlefield between superpowers. Venezuelan opposition accuses Maduro of provoking unnecessary crisis to consolidate power. Opposition leaders warn that conflict would be disastrous for already suffering population. Venezuelan economy already devastated by years of mismanagement and sanctions. War would make humanitarian situation unbearable with widespread shortages. Neighboring countries reinforce border security fearing conflict spillover. Colombia places armed forces on alert and requests American support. Brazil adopts cautious posture, avoiding openly taking sides. The Organization of American States convenes extraordinary session about the crisis. Moscow justifies its actions as legitimate response to years of Western provocations. Kremlin spokesperson lists NATO expansion and sanctions as previous aggressions. Putin appears publicly for first time since naval attack. In televised speech, he affirms Russia does not seek war but will defend interests. He declares the era of American unipolar domination has definitively ended. Russia, together with allies, will establish new multipolar world order. Putin guarantees he possesses military capacity to prevail in any confrontation. He exhibits videos of hypersonic weapons tests that no country can stop. The message is clear. The United States is no longer militarily invincible. Western analysts debate whether Putin is bluffing or genuinely confident. Intelligence services evaluate real Russian military capability